Hi, and welcome to a very different edition of Movie Night with Ebba and Linnea. As you can see, we're doing this not together in physical form. So we chose to release our ethereal beings onto Skype and have a conversation about a movie this way. So how are you doing, Linnea?
I'm doing fine. It's very, very warm here today, so I'm uh, maybe not
Yeah,
smelling very good, but since no one else is in the room, no one cares.
exactly. Yeah, it's kind of warm up here too, so but
Yeah,
it's all right. I like it, so it's
because
fine.
the reason we are not recording together is because you moved.
Yes, I
Yes,
moved
you
several
moved.
hours away actually.
Yes.
So unfortunately, we won't be able to meet in person for a while, I think.
No, probably
Yeah.
not. It's Suspiria by Dario Argento, which we chose because we wanted to see it, and also because there's a remake coming pretty soon. So it felt like it was time to see this one.
Mm.
What did you think about it?
Well, I did spoil it a bit just a few sentences ago, but I really liked it.
Mm.
It was beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. Eye candy all the time, definitely. Very quiet and yet very intense movie when it needed to be. So I was thrilled the whole way through.
Mm.
What did you think?
Yeah, I like it. I don't know if I like it quite as much as you do. It's not I don't hate it or even dislike it. I do like it, but I don't. I know a lot of people are bigger fans of it than I am. I think it's very much style over substance, like the style of it, and like you said, the look of it, the colors, the furniture, everything looks gorgeous, but I don't think the plot is that interesting.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's it's
yeah,
it's nice to look at, but I don't think it's I didn't find it that exciting to look at, maybe, or yeah, the plots anyway. So yeah,
yeah. I'm guessing we're gonna get into spoilers, but I don't know. I kind of have a feeling that you sort of know what you're getting into with this movie, right? I mean, they sort of spell it out almost in the beginning with the music to it. Well, maybe. I don't know. But should we keep just let's get into spoilers, right?
okay.
Let's just don't mind.
Here
So
be spoilers. Yeah.
here be spoilers. Um, I definitely get what you're saying about story because I had the exact same thinking, like the exact same thought. That it's I wouldn't say though that it's style over substance. I usually think that that's something that you know we say when it's very beautiful and then there's just very little plot.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like, well, they basically just went all in on the
Yeah, I guess I
but
see what
here,
you're saying. I mean,
yeah, and here,
it's sort of a spectrum, I guess. And
yeah,
if you want to really want to go like style over substance, I guess like a music video is that because music videos usually don't have a plot,
yeah,
except for some of them. And this one is not quite that far
no,
into the extreme, but it's still more style than substance, I
yeah,
guess. But there is
yeah.
still some substance, yes.
I do think that the plot is very simple, and I
What is the plot? Describe it for our viewers.
yes, maybe we should start there. Well, I have to look up her name, but I think it was Susie Banyan.
Yes.
Yeah, Susie Banyan from New York. She goes to, I don't remember what the country was. Romania. I have no idea.
Maybe.
Um,
It was
I
Europe somewhere.
yes, so she goes to Europe
And
land.
not Italy. Otherwise, I mean, a lot of the people in it are Italian, but I think maybe
Yeah,
it was closer to Germany or something. I don't know.
somewhere. I don't know why I picked up Romania.
It might be
Just
Romania. I don't
because.
know. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
But she went there anyway because she's accepted into a ballet academy, and it's a very prestigious and sought after academy to go to. So she goes there. It's pouring rain, and the first thing that she's greeted with is this young woman in total distraught, yelling incoherent words and running away. And Susie can't get access to the academy. She does the day after, and she sort of she's into the school and everything. And then during a class, she faints and starts to bleed from her mouth and nose. And that's when we know that something is up here. Well, apart from the fact that the girl who was distraught and screaming was murdered by an apparition or something, we don't know. And then it's basically like a murder mystery after that. It's like who did it? What is going on in this school? And then the teachers, they've got something weird going on. And a friend of Susie that she makes, I can't remember her name also, unfortunately.
Sarah?
But Sarah, yeah, maybe. Yep,
because they were making that joke about names that begins with S. Which was
exactly
weird, but yeah.
Yeah, strange. But so Sarah, she figures out that there's a way to tell where the teachers are going at night. And
by counting steps to doors.
Exactly.
And, because
and
they can hear the teachers. Yeah.
Yeah, and in doing this, she gets essentially a bullet eye on her head, and she dies. And then Susie finds out that the school was created, built, whatever, by a Greek woman in the 1800s who was a witch. And she made a witch school. And then her favorite people took over the school, and she cleansed, so the history says, cleansed the school of occult things and turned it into ballet school. And then there's naturally the big battle in the end where Susie kills off this, the Black Queen, I think the name was, of the director who made the school, Helena. And
Helena Marcos. Yeah.
Marcos, yes. And that is the movie. That is the plot. And as you can tell, it's not a lot. And you can't really say what development the main character does, because you don't really get a sense that she's someone who's weak in the beginning and that she needs to like overcome something. But yeah. It's simple, and sometimes simple is good, especially in my opinion when you've chosen to make such a vivid setting. With all there's so much going on with lighting and everything, that it's actually kind of nice to have the story being simple, I think.
Yeah.
So do you have any comments on the story more than...
On the story, nah, not really. I mean, not more than I've already said. That it's a pretty small story, and I think some people will really appreciate that it isn't very big and it isn't hugely complex or anything. I think I would have liked a little bit more of something. I don't know exactly what, but maybe a little bit more character development or whatever. Just a little bit more, but it's still a pretty decent story, murder mystery. Yeah. It is very difficult to go wrong with those, so, to be honest.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think it would have done the mystery a favor, actually, if they didn't do the whole info dumping near the end, where she goes to talk to someone, I can't remember who, but
it was a psychologist, I think.
Oh yeah.
Something.
Yeah. And he basically like info dumps for several minutes, and it's like, well, I don't know if that's the way I would have liked to have it being told. It was kind of dull, and it did demystify the whole thing also, because then you know exactly what's waiting and exactly what's going to happen. Like they say, well, if you wink wink kill off the head of the wink wink convent, then there isn't any. I guess I don't know what's going to happen next. It's pretty obvious, and that I think was a bad call, to be honest.
Because basically what happens is Susie, well, first of all, the girl in the beginning dies, but the girl in the beginning has left some journals behind which Sarah has picked up, but then the journals go missing, and because of that, Sarah goes missing. So Susie goes to a friend of Sarah, who is a psychologist, and looks for the journals and looks for Sarah too, I guess. And he's like, no, they're not here. But then she asks about witches, because supposedly the journals are about witches. I don't know if it's confusing, but there's a huge info dump about witches there. We're like, oh, but it works like this, and it's like, yeah. I wonder what's gonna happen.
Oh, it's a shame they did that, and also I think the whole
it was a bit too much.
and also it kind of felt like it might have been something that was recorded later. I don't know if it is, but it was the way it was shot. It was kind of bland, and it was outside, and maybe I'm guessing it's supposed to be a very stark contrast to the very strangely lit and dark academy, but it did. I don't know. It took you out of it, I think. Unfortunately, but since it is style over substance, maybe we should talk about the style. Because the style is, let's be honest, the reason for the remake.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, what else?
I mean, I have seen the trailer to the remake, and I think I sent it to you too, that you watched it. And it looks nice. I think it's actually going to be a pretty good remake. But I think one thing that the remake is going to be missing is the music, because the music in Suspiria is very special. It's made by Goblin, who did but they made the music to a lot of Italian films. And I really like their music. It's very, very unique, very sort of mysterious, sort of raw to some extent, but because they have a lot of like special sounds, women screaming and such in their music, and it's very kind of creepy, and I really dig it. And the especially the Suspiria theme, which they use a lot in this film, I think it's really, really good.
Oh yeah, it's excellent, and they use it really well. Like you'll have the intense build-up of a scene, and then it just cuts short, and you realize how just shrieking and horrible and intense that moment was, and then that is just gone, and it's so good. So I agree with you. The music is just excellent, and in the remake, it's hard to. I mean, I saw the trailer. Now it's been a while though, but I thought it looked good. But it's set in the 70s, right? In the remake as well, I think.
I think so, yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they're being a bit too close to the original material. I do prefer when remakes try.
Yeah, well, that's sort of the issue with making a remake. Either you keep it very, very close to the original, so it's like true to the original vision, and the fans will like it, and it will hopefully attract new fans to that style, or you completely reinvent it and goes far from the original, and there's no middle road there really. And I don't really know what I would like, what I would want from a Suspiria remake. I don't really know. I mean, I don't know.
Because it's kind
undecided.
It's kind of a strange movie to remake, I think.
Yeah.
Because since the plot is quite thin, it's simple, but it's still thin. So there isn't, unless you build upon it and you start to like really, like maybe place it like a couple of decades earlier, that would make sense. You're telling the dark story of how it became a ballet academy. I don't know.
Like a prequel.
Yeah, like a prequel. It would make sense, because then you could shove a ton of lore in there and just expand upon the whole school, because you've got this amazing building. So, which is intriguing, and there's a lot of symbolism in there. I think that you could maybe do something with. But other than that, I mean, the movie itself looks so good. So you can't do that again. You can't do that lighting. You can't do those exact props, because why? There's no need. There's no need.
No.
And it's also not like a case of, well, the actress was so bad, so we need to remake it just because, it.
Yeah.
All the actors are fine. I mean, and it's Jessica Harper, so I
I'm curious to ask you which dub you watched.
oof. Well, it was in English.
It was in English. Okay,
Yeah.
because I watched the Italian dub.
Ah.
This DVD edition only contains the Italian dub. Unfortunately, because I think I would have preferred it to see it in English. The thing is, when they recorded this, the movie, the actors, all the actors, or most of them, I think, spoke their native language. So Jessica Harper recorded in English, and others in Italian, and I think there was some that recorded in German. And then when they dubbed, they would dub over the different actors. And the voice actors in the Italian version, I don't think were very good. But that might be because I'm not a fan of the Italian language. No offense to anyone possible Italian that will watch this in the future. I don't mind Italy or Italians. I'm just not a fan of the language. I don't find it very pleasant to listen to. So I don't know. I really want to see this in English. I think I would like that better.
And we can put in an asterisk there, like, to our future Italian fans. It's okay if you hate Swedish or don't like Swedish as well.
I don't like Swedish, so.
Yeah, Swedish accents aren't the.
No.
They're never gonna end up on top sexiest accents to have.
Nope.
No, just listen to, for example. I mean, no, I think with what you're saying, I'm very glad I watched the English version because I think the actors. There was one that I thought, and it was pretty early on, when she runs to her, the distraught girl, she runs to her friend or whatever in the village, I think. Mm-hmm. That was a bit weird on one or two sentences. I just noticed it. Otherwise, it was fine, absolutely fine. So I thought it was all right.
Mm-hmm.
I
think, I mean, I'm not very used to listening to Italian, so maybe it's just because of that I can't hear all the nuances in the same way as I can with English, like emotional nuances to the language, so I kind of felt like I missed parts of that, and I also think that the voice dubbing for Sarah and Susie, the voices were very similar, so sometimes when they both were in the picture, I couldn't tell who was talking because it sounded exactly the same. So I was like, did Sarah say that or was it Susie? I don't know.
That's bad.
Yes. So, but this was, I mean, I already owned this, so I wasn't gonna get a new DVD edition just because I wanted it in English. So I wrote with what I have. But it's really strange that they didn't include the English version because I think the English one is the most famous one. I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's always the way I thought about it. I mean, I thought about it as there's a bunch of different actors, like mostly Italian actors, and English, but it's in English, I thought. But so yeah, I would say it's the most famous edition, I guess, and version. So I think the coven was just the teachers, basically. And there's like 4 of them. And at one point she says, the vice principal, she says, this is one of the veteran teachers. And it's the blonde-haired, stern-looking woman. And then, I mean, it seems like she's the only one or she's the only one who's a witch. So the coven is quite small, and I was expecting it to be like the ballet thing was a front to witch school, and finding out in the end when she was getting closer to finding out what was going on, Susie, as she walked down the hallways counting the steps and everything, that she would find that the missing girls at the academy, because they were gone for a concert or whatever, that they were practicing witchcraft. But that wasn't the case. So do you think that the ballet school was a front and we just didn't get that, or did they just keep it in the family and, you know, do you get where I'm?
Yeah, I don't know. I was actually thinking about this when I was watching it. Like, why a ballet school? Like,
Yeah.
what's the point? And they were getting a lot of like exchange students. You know, Susie Bannion was from the U.S., and I think there were some of the other students as well that were from outside the country. So it's like I was thinking for a while that they were doing this to sort of find recruits for the coven, but we don't actually
Yeah.
see that. So I don't know. It was a bit unclear what exactly the point of that was.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought maybe we would learn that well, people who have an affinity for art, especially dancing, because they're in tune with their body or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
uh, they can unlock witchcraft in them or whatever, and we pick proteges from this, from every year basically, or something, Harry Potter like that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they just keep a ballet school and risk getting caught all the time. Well,
Yeah.
they get tuition fees, so I guess they're trying to make a living somehow. But
Mm.
hey, bed and breakfast, it's basically the same without teaching. So,
Yeah.
any other thoughts on the sets or tension or any of those?
Well, to sort of continue with what when I talked about the music,
Mm?
I think the movie overall has a very interesting sound design. Not just in regards to the music, but also like silence. Because there's some scenes where there's very little sound. Maybe you can hear like the actors breathe or something, but there's hardly any other sound. And I think I really like that. I think that is part of what appeals so much to the Suspiria fans is not only the visual look of the movie but also the audio look audio design of it, I guess you
Yeah,
can say. Yeah.
sound design.
It's very suitably creepy for the set or for the movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
And also just the way mentioned a few times, but the lighting, um,
Lots of
how
lots of reds and blues.
yes, and there's one point where she, well, it's right after she fainted and she's in the bed, and they're trying to make her drink water, and it's from a what do you call it, canister, and no, what would you call that? A carafe.
Yeah, I don't know what to call it.
Well, okay, let's call it canister. When they so they try to make her drink from the canister, and the lighting is stark red on it, on this glass, whatever, which is scary, and because you're getting a hint that they're doing something to her right now, and they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna do more like this. So things like that, I really appreciated it,
Mm-hmm.
and also when Sarah she's fell in or fell on barbed wire, and she's struggling to get loose, but she's getting tangled and it hurts, and she's like fighting for her life, and it's all in this very dark blue, her and the wire in the room, and the door that it's just a little bit open, and it's bright yellow coming from the door, and she's trying to get to there because like light and freedom and escape, but instead a hand comes out of that room. So it's
Mm.
I things like that made it very very pretty, and also a way to tell how you're feeling and everything. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
any other thoughts?
I'm kind of curious what your experience was on this because I found the girls on this school to be very immature, but I think the original idea for the film was that it was actually going to be much younger actresses, and that didn't work out in the end because blood and stuff. So they went with, I don't know, 20 something actresses, but they still act like teenagers. And I don't know, there was some dissonance there that I couldn't quite get over. I don't know what your experience was with this.
Well, the exact same, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think, well, I looked up how old Jessica Harper would be in this movie, and she would be 26, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So she's up there to be able to sell the whole, oh, I'm just going off on college now. And the other actresses also look a bit old. But I don't know if that's because they chose dancers or if it was because, like you said, they they couldn't they couldn't make it work with younger.
Yeah, I think I know I've heard this, I think, in a YouTube video somewhere, and I actually tried finding the video, but I couldn't find it. But I have heard somewhere, and this, don't take my words for this, but I have heard somewhere that they were actually gonna use like early teen girls, and the movie was originally also more violent than this version is, and it wasn't it wasn't suitable to do that at the time. So they went with older actresses because it was just more worked better for them. But they still
Yeah.
but as a result, they still kept some of the original script where the girls act like young girls, basically. They have this scene in close to the beginning where one girl is sort of, your name both begin with an S, and that's, I don't remember exactly what it says, but it was
Yeah.
something in regards to snakes. And then they sort of stuck out their tongue to each other, and that's very, very not something a 20-something girl would do.
Mm, mm,
That
mm,
felt like
mm.
a very childish, juvenile thing. So that was
Yeah.
weird. Um,
Yeah, it
so.
was a bit off.
Mhm.
I didn't they cast. Oh God, I'm going on with the remake again. But didn't they cast? Oh, God damn it! I don't know her name. The 50 Shades of Grey lady.
Oh, the one who played Anastasia?
Yeah,
Oh,
isn't she the one in the trailer? I think.
possibly. I don't
Wait a
know.
minute. So I mean, they're going with the same thing again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I bet she's like 28 or something. She looks to be, right?
Yeah.
Uh, 50 Shades. Okay, I'm gonna look it up. Entertain while I I'm kidding.
Or you can just cut this part out, I guess.
Precis. Ska vi se. Dakota Johnson. Oh my God. She's 28. I was spot on. Damn. Oh my God. Okay, I am impressed. Without knowing anything about that woman, I knew she was 28 years old. Okay, so I think she's gonna be in the remake, and so they're going with the really old students again. Any other thoughts?
No, what did you think about when the pianist died? He didn't die at school. He
Oh,
died on the sort of square with
yeah.
funky looking buildings all around. I thought
The
I
North
thought
Rome
Yeah.
place.
I thought that scene, he basically gets mauled to death by his dog, but it's indicated that the dog is violent because the witches has made it violent or something. But I thought the scene was maybe a bit too long. Because they were actually like building up the suspense for quite a while before the dog actually attacks. And the idea, I think, was because the pianist was blind and he was feeling something. He was like, "Who's there?" And the idea is that some mother would come out from the shadows, but he doesn't because it's a dog that kills him. But I don't know, it took a bit too long. I didn't
Yeah.
feel. I didn't. I was not a fan of that scene, to be honest.
Yeah. Me too. I tuned out for a while, to be honest, when that was going on. And as soon as I noticed, oh, something's happening again, then I awoke again, basically. So, yeah, it was a bit too long. And It was hard to care also because the pianist, he was just some dude beep, 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 during
Mm-hmm.
classes, and
I think the important part in that scene is not the pianist; it's the dog. Like
yes, that they
we
can take
yeah.
over. Yeah, but then you ask yourself, okay, but if the Black Queen did that, or the vice director
Mm-hmm.
person, why did she compel? Okay, now I'm thinking. Did she compel the dog to bite her master, or did the boy who was bitten by the dog compel
Oh,
the master?
her nephew, right?
Nephew, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Good question.
but the,
Because the nephew was part of the coven too, right? He was
yeah,
like
and he looks creepy. I
yeah,
mean,
he was like 10 years old, but he was like
he had this hairdo,
yeah,
this
like a
haircut that only
uh,
creepy kids do.
yeah, like a very sort of old-fashioned.
Yeah,
Uh,
and so
yeah.
shiny
Mm-hmm.
and flat and just and with this sort of old school looking.
Yeah, he looked like an I don't know 18th century kid or something.
Yeah, exactly. Really, really weird kid. I was so I was so prepared for him to be Satan or something, and we would find out in the end that they were like praying to him or I don't know something with Satan and that boy, but it didn't happen.
Okay. Anything else? Or do we feel
No,
like yeah we're
no,
done?
I'm good. I
Yep.
think it's a very beautiful movie, and if you like a bit of mystery and you like looking at pretty things, you will enjoy this movie.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. It's a very very beautiful movie. And it has it's not it's not scary in the same way I think modern horror films is. It's more creepy than scary, I suppose. It's a good way to describe it, and I love that kind of creepy. I think it's quite nice. So yeah, I would recommend it definitely. So for those of you out there watching, have you seen Suspiria? Do you want to see it? Are you interested in the remake? You know, whatever your relationship is to Suspiria, share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like the video if you liked watching us. Subscribe to our channel if you want to see more of us. And we will see you again soon. Bye bye.
Bye.